I'm here to talk about the delights and the struggles about the birth of this new creative medium of 360 video. The most delightful moment, it was putting on the head-mounted display and being able to look around inside of a movie. There are some realities that are worth, if I can use the word, immersing yourself in and kind of losing yourself in the moment. And the advantage of 360 video is that you don't ever miss anything. The camera sees it all, so you don't actually have to pay attention. And you can discover things later. It began for me with the realization that we all live at the center of a spherical field of view. If you think about it, all the things that appear in the world could be considered to be on the surface of a sphere that surrounds you. And I figured if I could record that spherical surface with some kind of camera, then I could record what it is to see in all directions. The whole process of making that a reality started in 1994 in Portland when we were able to have our first office. And that's where I built a spherical dome screen for projections. And using multiple miniature cameras, video cameras that were being made available for the first time then, I could put them together to add up to a kind of wraparound image that you could walk into, and it would show the view straight up, which is something you hadn't seen with the usual panoramic imaging. That was exciting, and it really gave you this feeling of what it's like to be in a new kind of wraparound world. Then the next stage was building the first full sphere immersive cameras. And this is the first one from 1994 with my friend Stuart Ellis. And here I am in the Church of Elvis t-shirt. And this is the first camera. It was black and white, and it was adding up to a much larger kind of image that we could record on camcorders. That was the most convenient thing, was a bank of camcorders. And everything in these days was analog. There was no such thing as digital video. But even so, that we were able to record the first spherical, full motion, immersive movie. And here it is being recorded in the spring of 1995. Stuart Ellis directed it. And you see on the ground there is a pile of gear, all kinds, and the binaural head for high quality sound. And this was the image that came out of it when you could see in all directions from the 11 cameras all fused together. This was done later in post-production from the original tapes that I did at 2002. The action was choreographed around the camera, and it became the first immersive movie in the world, The Sphere, from 1995. And here it is.
What's we gonna get?
That was made as a demo for Virtual I/O, which is a pioneering head-mounted display manufacturer in Seattle. And we showed it at their booth at SIGGRAPH 1995 in Los Angeles in August that year. And it was a breakthrough of a new kind of image people had never seen before. Here's Peter Jambroni a producer putting the head-mounted display on somebody so they could look around inside it by turning their head. That was the exciting thing, was to realize that this was a wraparound image, especially when you could freeze it and look around within the still to look behind you as well. That really brought it home for some people. It kind of this shock of recognition that there was more to the picture than they were seeing in the frame. This is the two that did the post-production for the movie, to the right and left, Sue Wyszynski and Eric Gullickson. And in the center is Eric Chen from Apple, who that same show was introducing QuickTime VR, which was the breakthrough for looking around within still images. And it was also the first glimpse of VR and a lot of things that became prominent later. A very important moment in the history of VR. This is the first camera. That's the camera itself. And when I picked it up many years later, it still worked. This is the way we were organizing the image. We call this a spider pattern. And it's a way of making a very efficient breakdown of how it all goes together. All these pictures, all these triangles are actually the same shape, but the sphere, mapping it on the sphere, distorts them into these different shapes. The second generation of camera was larger, but it had the first crucial improvements like synchronized frames and synchronized color, and really looking at the camera system as some one fused thing instead of 11 independent things. This was what I used to start to explore what recording could be like out in the world. I got into a lot of different situations using a mobile wheelchair for mobility. You can see the banks of camcorders on the back there, and it even carried its own lights, which were invisible to the camera because it was underneath the camera where all that was unseen, including the cameraman. This is a better view of that wheelchair, and it has some improved controls in front of me there and the lights above my head. This is what we started to see when we started to bring back the first images of the camera in motion. That was 2002. And right after that was the introduction of the first fully mature, I think, immersive production platform. It was the Dodeca 2360. And that was what enabled us to really become mobile and really get out into the world. Here I am carrying it. It is easily portable, could shoot for hours, quick post-production, and very resistant to all kinds of problems. Here I am recording The Gates, Christo's The Gates in New York in 2005, and some stills from that scene. Quite a great immersive wraparound thing. Here I am at Times Square. Really, it lends itself to the kind of overload situations where there's too much going on, but you can stop and appreciate things later on when you look at the recording and look around and discover things. This is what we were starting to see when we first got to use the 2360. So this camera system has been all around the world, recording in underwater, in the air, freezing cold, blazing heat, all kinds of crazy situations. And it brought back the shots, and we could all appreciate them. This was used for the recordings of cities that Google used for launching Street View in 2007. I'll just point out that these recordings were all done with 4-channel sound in full motion color. That was something to see. I hope you can see them sometime. And you notice on the back of the car there is the GPS, very high quality wheel encoder, so we had a very precise location for every frame that we shot. And this is the still from the viewer program, the IM viewer, for looking around within the image. And it had a lot of features that I think are still unique among viewers for looking around. But I personally still like that full sphere because it's really like nothing else. So the years of development after the first movie and the first experiments with the large and more cumbersome camera systems led to my design of the Dodeca 2360, which is the large-scale recording solution for the introduction of immersive video. And this is what it looks like. It's small, portable, very powerful in its capabilities. It's got 4-channel sound, and it's a single connection coming out of it. Very easy to use, very good adjustment of the picture. And this particular model, as you can see, it's been bleached by the sun because it's been out in the outdoors recording for hundreds of hours. So when you're using it, it records using this just standard game controller as your control. And the recording is as easy as hitting this button and this button to stop. And just records and records. And while you're looking around in the picture using this to change direction, to look around in every direction, you can, after you stop it, you use these buttons in a very fast editing mode, which I'll show you later. And with that editing mode, you do automatic post-production. So this is the base unit for the 2360. This is a high capacity model. It's got 2 hard drive cartridges for recording up to 6 hours at a stretch. And the camera connections are here, power connection here, turning it on with this switch. And the video monitor to see what's going on comes out of this. It's got a card built into it, which enables you to see what the image would look like blended all at once. It's a special high digital signal processing card called the Immersive Viewer. And so you see what it's like to be stitched even before it's stitched. It just gives you a preview. So it's a very powerful unit and very tough. It's been a lot of places around the country. Just having this hardware to work with that's so easy to use is such a pleasure. When you hit the button and things go automatically to produce these kind of images, it's a real dream come true. So that's the story. Began 30 years ago, and now today it's developed to the point where here we have the GoPro Fusion, which is an immersive camera you can put in your pocket. And so everybody can enjoy shooting and enjoying this wonderful creative medium. This is the monitor screen while the camera is in operation. You see the elapsed time up at the top, the views, so you can switch around and look in every direction by using the joystick, the right joystick. And the left joystick is for the playback, where you can zoom back and forth. This particular camera doesn't have the discs available. I mean, there's no disc loaded in it. But if there were, you'd see all your recorded shots there. And with the recorded shots, the playback, when you do the playback, you can mark in and mark out very quickly and make an edit decision list, which is included with the disc. So by the time it gets to post-production, it already has its edits built in. Then you see here, going back to the system menu, you've got a lot of variables and what to do. So this is all now yours to explore. Enjoy.